Now, I mentioned 60 Minutes a little bit earlier and this remarkable exchange.
The terrorists became very mean and very cruel and violent.
More so.
Much more so. They were beating me and starving me.
Do you think they starved you or they just didn't have food?
No, I think they starved me.
On the same episode, we heard not just about the physical, but also the psychological torture inflicted on hostages. This is Yardan Bibas, whose wife and children were kidnapped and murdered.
They were murdered in cold blood, bare hands. They used to tell me, doesn't matter, you get a new wife, get a new kids, better kids.
They said that to you?
Yeah, many times. Many times.
It's hard to fathom just how depraved that all is, to tell a father whose children you've murdered, don't bother grieving them, you'll get better kids.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about Hamas, which is that, you know, human life means nothing to them. They cannot imagine being attached enough to a wife or children that you would actually grieve them. The Leslie Stahl interview, the 60 Minutes interview, you noticed what she did there, right? She was carrying water for Hamas. She was saying to him, did they really starve you? Are you sure they didn't just run out of food because of the evil Israelis?
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine at this stage carrying water for Hamas? And the truth is that the liberal mainstream media just cannot quit Hamas. No matter what they do, there is some instinct in them that tries to rescue Hamas, carry water for them, and rescue their reputation. It is unfathomable how the leftist mainstream media are the stenographers of terrorists.
It is incredible that she would come up with that question and then keep it in the interview, because as we know, they record hours, so there was no reason to keep that exchange. But obviously, 60 Minutes, they thought that was a perfectly appropriate question to ask a man who's been tortured, starved, kept hostage for all those months. Or maybe your captors didn't have food. I mean, we've seen the Hamas captors at these disgusting handover ceremonies they have, and none of them are suffering from malnutrition. I would ask you about Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's upset the left again, this time with a tattoo. Reportedly, it's a new tattoo. It's in Arabic, and it's a symbol of defiance. Do you know what the meaning behind this tattoo and why it's enraging the left so much?
So the tattoo says kafir, which means infidel, which is what Islamists call people who are fair game for being killed. You know, the Islamist, the radical Islam that we have today, that we're dealing with today, is an imperialist vision. They want a world caliphate, and they believe that they should be able to rule. And anybody who is an infidel is, you know, fair game. Their life does not count for anything. And it's his defiance. He's saying, come at me, come get me. I am exactly that thing that you fear and that you loathe and that you hate and that you want to kill. And I think, honestly, pretty cool, pretty sexy. I'm not above admitting that.
It is actually an awesome tattoo. I don't have any tattoos, but I reckon that would be on the short list if I were to get one. That is just a kick-ass message right there. It's saying to the extremists, I'm not ashamed, come get me. Yeah, it's no, I've got to say, and if it's upsetting all the right people, that just makes it even better. Now, Batya, I'm still not sure whether this next story is an April Fool's joke or not. It was certainly released, this information, well before April 1 here in Australia, and that is that Kamala Harris, yes, the failed vice presidential candidate, is heading to Australia to a real estate conference. She's going to headline a real estate conference on the Gold Coast, where she's rumoured to be paid $500,000, I'm not sure whether that's US or Australian dollars, to deliver one of her infamous word salads. Can you believe this?
It's kind of a keyhole, like a window into how the elites operate, which is they confer upon each other credentials. And then for the honor of having those credentials, they pay each other a lot of money to listen to what each other have to say. And that's the whole game, really, is you go to an elite university, you get these elite credentials, you become part of the club. That credential was given to you by an equally godless, empty-headed, immoral, amoral character. And then as a result of having that credential, you can then, do things like run for office, even though you haven't been able to show any success, any accomplishments, and then you will simply fail up higher and higher and higher, at which point you will be able to ask for $500,000 for word salad. And that really is the whole game of it. And I think that it is infuriating, and it should be infuriating. It's funny, but it's also, there's something about it that is like really, really, really insulting to people who actually work really hard and whose jobs actually matter. I mean, Kamala Harris, it doesn't matter if she knows what she's talking about at the end of the day. That's what we learned from her entire career. But there are people out there who make a fraction of what she makes, whose jobs actually really matter. And if they mess things up, people die, and what do they have to show for it?
This is going to be hilarious. If this actually happens, I'm still in disbelief about it. I really am. And who's going to be buying tickets for this? I mean, the real estate agents probably just want to be on the Gold Coast for the big party. It's normally a bit of a junket from what I understand. They're not there for the speeches, but headlining Kamala Harris, really? Now, before you go, I've got to ask you about Columbia University. New York Post reports that fresh from botching the response to the pro-Palestinian protest on campus and the Trump administration threatening to pull $400 million in federal grants, well, they may have fresh problems at Columbia with the once prestigious school having students not accept offers. This is according to a top admissions consultant. This is reputational damage that is hard to recover from, Batya.
There's the reputational damage. There's the fact that many Jewish students are not going to go there. I bet you also a lot of international students who really like Hamas are now thinking twice about applying to Columbia because they know that they're not going to get a pass. I wonder if that visa issue is also impacting the enrollment because, of course, these universities make a lot of money off of foreign students. So I think, we're really seeing a sea change here, and it is 100% the result of the Trump administration pulling off once again things that I thought were totally impossible, like trying to get elite universities to behave in a moral way.
It is a new era in the US. Batya Ungar-Sargon, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless you, Rita.